Haisai, wanne Sid Yaibing, Cha Ganju. Welcome everyone, I'm your host Sid. I hope you're doing well and I thank you for your continuing support to this channel. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Click on that red subscribe ball in the lower right. Also, share this video with others via email, Facebook, Twitter, or some other social media. The background today is the Hari Boat Festival, or sometimes called the Dragon Boat Festival. Historically, the Hari Boat races took place for fishermen to pray to the gods for a safe voyage, good fishing, and to thank the sea for its blessings. This boat race originated in China and was adopted in Okinawa over 500 years ago. These races are traditionally held in Itoman on the 4th day of the 5th lunar month, but it is scheduled earlier in Naha around May 3rd to 5th to tie it in with Golden Week. In China, the dragon boat races are held on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month, which is one day after the Itoman race. Typically, the boat has 11 or 12 crew members, including a helmsman and drummer, but the Naha races have even more crew members. This is an exciting event, and maybe you can plan your travel around this tradition. Okay, let's start. Today we'll be discussing the subject particle, also called the subject marker in Uchinaguchi. The subject particle immediately follows the subject word. In Japanese, the subject marker is ga. In Uchinaguchi, there are two subject markers, ga and nu. So you may be wondering, why are there two subject markers in Uchinaguchi? Are ga and nu interchangeable? The answer is that ga and nu are not interchangeable and used for different purposes. Ga is used when the subject is a person. Nu is used when the subject is not a person. I'll give several examples for the use of the subject marker ga and nu. Some of you may remember from video 11 that ga can also be used as a question particle. So how do we know if ga is being used as a question particle or a subject particle? The answer is that ga is always used as a question particle if it is at the end of a sentence. Ga is used as a subject marker or subject particle when it is used within a sentence. These examples will use vocabulary that we have not discussed yet, but I will provide the translations, so don't worry. Sometime in future videos, I will formally introduce these new words. Let's start with some examples using the nu particle. The first example is my hand hurts. In Japanese, it is tega itai. In Uchinaguchi, it is ti nu yamung. The hand, or ti, is the subject and is followed by the subject marker nu. The second example is there is a zoo in Waikiki. In Japanese, it is Waikiki ni dobutsen ga aru. In Uchinaguchi, it Waikiki Waikikin dobutsueng nu ang. Dobutseng is the subject and is followed by the subject marker nu. The next example is I have two cars. In Japanese, it is kuruma ga nidai aru. In Uchinaguchi, it is kuruma nu nidai ang. Kuruma is the subject and is followed by the subject marker nu. The next example is the cat caught the rat. In Japanese, it is neko ga nezumi wo tsukomaeta. In Uchinaguchi, it is maya nu ni kachimitang. Maya is the subject and is followed by the subject marker nu. The last example is I have no money. In Japanese, it is okane ga nai. In Uchinaguchi, it is jing nu neerang. Jing is the subject and is followed by the subject marker nu. In Hawaii, you may hear older Uchinanchus say jingwa neerang, which means the same. Next, we'll look at some examples using the ga particle. Remember, the subject for all these examples will be, or rather must be, a person. Example 1, I will drink water. In Japanese, it is watashi ga mizu wo nomu. In Uchinaguchi, it is wa ga mizu numung. Wa is the subject and is followed by the subject marker ga. Example 2, the teacher called me. In Japanese, it is sensei ga watashi wo yobimashita. In Uchinaguchi, it is shinshi ga wangyudang. Shinshi is the subject and is followed by the subject marker ga. Example 3. The tourists are few. In Japanese, it is kankou kyaku ga sukunai. In Uchinaguchi, it is kankou kyaku ga ikirasan. Kankou kyaku is the subject and is followed by the subject marker ga. Example 4. Bezos rode a spaceship. In Japanese, it is Bezosu ga uchusen ni notta. In Uchinaguchi, it is Bezos ga uchusen kai nutan. Bezos is the subject and is followed by the subject marker ga. Example 5. He will go to the Okinawa Taikai. In Japanese, it is Kare ga Okinawa Taikai ni ikimasu. In Uchinaguchi, it is Ari ga Uchina Taikai kai ichun. Ari is the subject and is followed by subject marker ga. The examples for both nu and ga were practical in that you could use them in your Uchinaguchi conversation. I hope these examples help you understand how to use the subject particles and when to use nu and ga. Let's discuss one last topic. Now that we have learned about the topic particle ya and the subject particle nu and ga, a common question is, when do we use ya, the topic particle, and when do we use the subject particles nu or ga? Let me present 3 situations which will help you in choosing the right particle. Situation 1. Ya is used to mark something that has already been introduced into the conversation or is familiar with both a speaker and a listener. Ga or nu is used when something new is introduced into the conversation. This is clear, so I won't give examples. Situation 2. When a question word such as who or what is the subject of a sentence, it is always followed by ga or nu, never by ya. To answer that question, the subject also has to be followed by ga or nu. An example is as follows. Ta ga uchina taikai kai ichuga, which means who is going to the Uchina Taikai. Notice that ta is the question word that is also the subject and is followed by the subject marker ga. The answer to that question, wa ga taikai kai ichung, which means I will be going to the Taikai. Also notice that the answer uses the subject marker ga, which also follows the subject wa. Situation 3. Ga is used for emphasis to distinguish a person or thing from all others. If a topic is marked with ya, the comment is the most important part of the sentence. On the other hand, if a subject is marked with ga, the subject is the most important part of the sentence. The following 2 sentences are examples of this situation. Taru ga masarumun tachang. Taru ya kundu masarumun tachang. The first sentence uses the subject marker ga, and the second sentence uses the topic marker ya. The first sentence puts emphasis on the subject taru. You are emphasizing the fact that it is taru that cooked something delicious. So it may have been a potluck and taru's dish stood out, so you use taru ga. The second sentence uses ya, so the emphasis is on the fact that the food was delicious. In this situation, you really love the dish, which happened to be made by taru. This should help you in deciding when to use ya, ga, or nu. If you found this video interesting, please share this video via email, Facebook, Twitter, or some other social media with your family and friends. Also, like if you enjoyed this video. This, along with comments, are the only way I know if the videos were appreciated. So this concludes this video. As always, thank you for viewing. Mata yaasai.